Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to be looking at a really fascinating intersection of local history and cutting-edge environmental strategy. We are focusing on the Sandbanks Ferry. You know, that vital transport link down in Dorset that connects the Sandbanks Peninsula right over to Studland. But hey, we aren't just looking at what this ferry does today. We're going to unpack its ambitious journey toward a highly sustainable, truly green future.
But before we look to the future, I actually want to start by highlighting this staggering number, 9 million. Seriously, just let that sink in for a second. 9 million. This isn't a financial figure, and it's definitely not a passenger count. This number represents the absolutely incredible environmental impact the ferry is already having right now, every single year.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is exactly how that 9 million is calculated. By taking the super quick 4-minute crossing over the mouth of Poole Harbour, vehicles are saved from taking a massive 25-mile detour by road. It's like a shortcut on steroids. When you multiply that 25-mile saving by the hundreds of thousands of cars and vans that use the ferry annually, boom, you get a staggering 9 million road miles saved. That translates to an enormous reduction in exhaust emissions, so even before the company starts implementing new green technologies, they're already operating from an incredibly strong environmentally positive baseline.
Section 1. The Green Baseline. Localizing the global goal. So, the UK government has set this monumental, literally legally binding target to reach net zero greenhouse gas emissions by the year 2050. And it's super easy to look at that as a purely national or even international issue, right? But the reality is that hitting that goal actually requires local community-level action. To help meet the UK's 2050 net zero target, the Sandbanks Ferry Company has unveiled a brand new public commitment. They've recognized that despite being one of the most environmentally friendly modes of transport in Dorset already, they can still do more. They are absolutely determined to safeguard the future of the ferry service while explicitly lowering their carbon footprint. It is just a fantastic example of a localized business taking real ownership of a global goal.
Section 2. Journey to Net Zero, a century of evolution.
To truly appreciate the scale of these upcoming technological leaps, we kind of have to look back. This is a service that has been adapting to new tech for a very long time. The original motor ferry service launched way back in 1926. And get this, that first vessel was coal-fired and steam-driven with a capacity of just 15 cars. Now, let's move to and see how this builds, because fast forward to 1994 and we see the introduction of the Bramble Bush Bay, which is the vessel currently in operation. This is a 242-foot diesel hydraulic ferry capable of carrying up to 48 cars. But the absolute most exciting point on this timeline is the future, 2032. That's the year the company plans to order a completely new, environmentally friendly replacement vessel.
Section 3. Fueling the future, beyond diesel. Now, moving away from a reliable heavy-duty diesel engine for a massive chain ferry that crosses a tidal harbor, well, that's no small task. Right now, naval architects are evaluating 3 really exciting options: electric, hydrogen, and biofuel. But the engineering reality is that a fully proven, totally viable non-diesel alternative drive system for this specific type of floating bridge, it just isn't readily available on the market yet. The costs and the reliability of these emerging technologies are still somewhat unknown. However, the company is conducting ongoing, really robust investigations into all 3 of these options. They are actively waiting for the exact moment when these technologies become fully viable and sustainable enough to handle the heavy demands of the Poole Harbour crossing.
You know, it's actually fascinating to hear from Mike Kean, the managing director of the Sandbanks Ferry, because his perspective really humanizes this whole corporate strategy. This isn't just some faceless corporation. The ferry has been operated by the exact same family since 1983, and it's now in its 3rd generation. His goal to offer a service that is as green as possible really highlights a deep, long-term dedication to serving the local Dorset community. It's all about ensuring that the legacy they leave for future generations of passengers is as green and clean as it can possibly be.
Section 4. Benefits for Dorset. Balancing the ledger.
Of course, engineering a custom, state-of-the-art green ferry requires significant capital. So how do the financial realities of this vision actually impact the regular commuters, the returning tourists, and the local Dorset economy? Well, it's a delicate balance. To fund this, the company is introducing small toll increases, though it's definitely worth noting that vehicle tolls haven't increased in over 5 years, and foot passenger and bike tolls have literally been frozen for over a decade. So the crucial point is, to balance that out,
The company's directors have committed to not paying out any dividends to the owners until the ferry replacement fund is completely topped up. This means the money generated from the fare adjustments is being directly and transparently ring-fenced to secure that 2032 green replacement ferry. It's a really pragmatic balance between a small local cost and a massive direct local investment.
But the green vision isn't just about waiting around until 2032. There are immediate, highly impactful operational upgrades happening right now. Starting in July 2026, the ferry will transition to a 100% cashless payment system using brand new automatic number plate recognition, or ANPR, cameras over at Shell Bay. And because of this, the physical toll barriers are being removed entirely. Guys, this is huge for the environment. By removing the need for vehicles to stop and pay at a physical booth, they are significantly reducing those notoriously long queues on Ferry Road. And less queuing means less engine idling, which immediately cuts down on localized air pollution and carbon emissions from waiting cars. Basically, it makes the journey smoother, faster, and instantly greener.
And this brilliantly illustrates how large-scale environmental goals can be tackled at a deeply local level. The Sandbanks Ferry is taking a centuries-old transport route and methodically upgrading its operations, its funding, and its tech to meet a net-zero future. It really makes you think about the infrastructure around us every single day. So I'll leave you with this question to consider. How do you envision the future of sustainable travel in your own community? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep looking for those brilliant local solutions.